Good morning everyone, my name is Miss Myra and today I'm going to be showing you how to make your very own mandala embroidery. So for this project you will need an embroidery hoop, some burlap fabric, some yarn in a variety of different colors, scissors, a plastic needle, and a felt tip marker or Sharpie. So let's get started. To begin, we need to secure our fabric onto the hoop. The way that we do this is to lay it on top of the smaller hoop, like so, but right in the middle. Then we place the top hoop over it, like so. We twist it in this little thingy till we have it nice and secure, and if we need to pull on the edges, we can do so. We want it nice and tight. There we go. Next, we will take our marker and we'll begin drawing our mandala shape. So, if you need to practice this part on a piece of paper, you can certainly do so. You can find mandala shape ideas online. Just draw it. Like so. Maybe a few of these. And we have our mandala shape. We are ready for our yarn. So for your yarn, you're going to want to cut a length that is about from the tip of your arm to the middle of your chest, and that should be long enough that it's not going to wrap or distort the yarn, and it should be enough. You're going to take your needle. Plastic one should work perfectly fine for this project, but this is what I have, so this is what I will use. And you're going to thread the yarn through the eye of the needle. There we go. Leave a little tail so as not to pull the needle off. And then you are going to create a knot at the end. Just do a simple double knot. 1, 2, and you have your knot. You might need to do a little bit extra just for those holes in that burlap. There we go. So I'm going to try doing a cross stitch in the middle of my mandala. So I brought the yarn up, The knot prevented it from moving it any forward, and always pull all the way out until the yarn stops running. Otherwise it's going to create these basically loops on the back. So pull it all the way through until the yarn stops running. You're going to do an X like that. Bring it down, bring it up, and bring it down. Okay, cross stitch, bring it up, diagonal, bring it up, and down, up, to the side, up and down. And I'm gonna do this until I fill up the whole part of that circle in the middle. Okay, so I have completed my cross stitch to fill the middle of my flower. As you can see, I went ahead and tied it off with a knot on the back and left a little bit tail. I'll encourage you to leave that tail because if you cut it right at the knot when you finish, it's going to unravel and mess up your whole embroidery. So I knotted it off. I have gotten a second color, again cutting the length of the thread from the tip of my fingers to the middle of my chest, and tied a knot at the end and threaded my needle. So for this next stitch, we're going to do what's called a chain stitch, and I'm going to be doing it all around the floral parts right here. So you bring the thread up, we actually take it back down right where we brought it up. You bring it up in the next area, and to create your chain, put this little loop that you've created over and pull. Remember to pull it all the way until the yarn starts going. So to make another chain, you put the needle back into that little loop, bring it under the fabric, and then bring it back up. Make sure that that next loop goes directly around it and pull. Again, enter your needle right there where you brought it up. And get your loop ready. Bring the needle up in that next area and then pull. You're going to do that all over that flower petal. Okie dokie, so at this point I have finished making my chain stitch all around this figure, and I actually went ahead once I was finished and did some more cross stitching on this next layer. For my last layer, I have gone ahead and cut a piece of yarn, threaded it and knotted it, and what I'm going to do next is show you how to do what is called a running stitch. So this running stitch is going to go all around here, and it's basically just going to be some dash marks. So you're going to pull your your thread at the first loop. Remember to tug it all the way to the end so that you don't get any unwanted loops. So you tugged it out. Then you're going to, about 1/4 of an inch down, going to insert the needle and pull it all the way through. Then about 1/4 of an inch down, about the size of your pinky, you're going to bring the needle up, and you're actually going to insert it through the last, right in the same hole that you stitched that last stitch. Down, and then again about 1/4 of an inch up, And then insert your needle right at the end of that last stitch, 1/4 of an inch up, following that marker line and inserting that needle where you ended that last stitch. And again, last time you bring your needle about 1/4 of an inch up and insert it where you finished that last stitch. So I'm gonna go all over the rest of my loops, then we can finish off our mandala. Okay, so you can see that I finished my back stitch all around my little loops. Now my mandala embroidery is complete. To finish off the project with a nice little framed component, we are actually going to take another piece of yarn and we are going to do what's called a whip stitch all around the area of the embroidery to prevent it from fraying any further. So how I do this whip stitch is basically just pulling the yarn through and going around like so. Going around like so. Just in and out and going all around like that. So you're gonna do this all around here. Okay, so at this point we've gone ahead and gone over all the edges of the embroidery to prevent fraying. Now we are going to finish it off. So you're gonna flip it over and you're going to fold in fourths to almost like you're creating an envelope, okay? So fold. Then you want to hide these little edges. So you're going to fold those in as well, and as you're folding them in, I want you to grab them with your needle and pull, okay? So you're pulling these inward like so every time, like that. You're pulling them into the embroidery. I'm going to do this in every small corner like that. Okay. You're going to do this a few times, maybe a few rounds. You can even create an X like that. Just basically creating a bunch of random stitches to secure it in place. Then go ahead and finish it off. Go under one of your stitches to create a little loop, and to pull and hide. Recut and ta-da! You want to make a hanger, you can just tie. There you go. Now you can hang your embroidery.